number 2. And we have a hot matchup. A really hot matchup. As Colonel Koenig is bringing in the Toulon task force. Or like the Verteidigungsbereich Toulon defensive units. And on the other side, we have some French aggression with Task Force Butler. Some French-American division. So the two divisions out of the south of France running into each other here. And that should be interesting. That should be interesting. M10 tank destroyers, really strong, as these are the American ones. They have the APCRs. On the other side, we have the quick, annoying little 47mm in traction. The most long-range unit you can get in traction in any deck. Mech sniper units in tractions as well. More 47mm. Seems like an ambush is planned for the southern flank by Colonel Koenig. Yeah, both interesting divisions. Not quite super top level, but both have their small little things going for them. Like the French support units with good American infantry, good American Shermans, M10 tank destroyers in every deck that gets them. Always really nice as well. On the other side, you have a lot of nice support weapons. You have really good AA. You have a decent anti-tank depth. You have really good artillery as well. And then you have a weird amount of different ragtag infantry units, including Brandenburgers and so on. And really strong CQC units with the Italian 12-man Beretta squadron. That can help out as well. So with that, you for sure brings in some power. But on this map, infantry usually not too important. It's more gonna be about the support weapons versus the tank power and artillery on both sides. Both decks for sure have a solid artillery tab. That can be nice on this one as well. Yes, Reef. But just after I also lost two games in a row against Yamin on ladder, then I also decided to cast your games against Yamin. Lol. No, I decided to cast them before I ran into Yamin twice. So yeah. We saw Yamin bullying someone 4 times in a row today. No, you did way better than I did. You actually did keep up pretty well in game. On the Nina game especially. Just that ARM 38s. And that map are pretty nasty. And you did get a bit the worst end of the stick in the tank engagements. Other than that, I think you were doing it pretty fine. Like the infantry engagements you took, all really good, Reef. All really good. So here we go. Who will win this one? Can IL2, can Flix bring it back? Or will Colonel Koenig win this one as well? It's a Slutsk map as well. But yeah, I feel like Toulon can work on this map. So it obviously is pretty easily targetable with artillery, with its big guns. And if the enemy outbeaten runs you in artillery, that can be bloody, because you just ain't a really mobile division. That's the biggest disadvantage of Toulon. You have good infantry, you have good support stuff, but you are just not mobile. And that can be punished with artillery or with like really strong thrusts into one of your flanks, where you then can't reallocate to that position. So we'll see how this goes. Task Force Butler is a division with a lot of stuff in the early phases, but then running a bit out of stuff in the later phases. Getting replaced by some French partisan units. M8s here coming in. Jeep 50-50 cal, trying to roll forward. Trying to overwhelm the enemy directly, but against the 47mm AT gun, that seems like a wild choice. Yeah, the Jeeps here not doing too well in the northern end, but in the southern position, they are able to pin down the enemy here. Maros coming in already, Panzer Grenadiers not unloading, but the Jeeps take the fire away from the M8s, allowing the M8s to push forward, and ooh, everything here gets pinned down, though there's nothing that pushes the front line forward. So nothing here will get surrendered, even though everything gets pinned down. More 47mm rolling in the rear. Interesting start here, interesting rush by Flix. Also grabbing a lot of flags with one single MG that goes just completely through the lines. As Koenig did not bring any units in there. And now the Stuart is rolling forward to get something in that actually can pin down the enemy here. And that could end up really, really painful for Colonel Koenig. Really interesting rush here. Working out pretty well. Colonel Koenig a bit over-eager with his positioning on the 47mm, letting them all get caught off guard. These ones, like one of them could have gone here, that would have helped out a lot. And yeah, everything here gets surrendered, and that is super duper painful. Flix in a super strong position now, and being aggressive, having to take back ground with too long. Oh god, is that bad. Oh god, is that bad. Really well played here for Flix. Yeah, the northern thrust with the 50 cal jeeps not working out, but the southern thrust working out amazingly. And that's the one he needed. The M8's following it up. Stuart's arriving just in time to surrender everything. Now the Stuart and the 47mm are here, but they are here too late. And infantry all gone already, and now Flix needs to try to dig in as ASAP. A nice anti-tank gun or so there would be nice. Crew kill on the Marder. M10 tank destroyer really strong. Marder only having 1750 meter range. The M10 has 2000 meter range with its APCR shell. Now can go into AP range. Doesn't have to waste its APCR shells on the long range anymore to finish the job. Marder can't fight back anymore. And that was a really strong start here. M8 disengaging away from the Stuk. And a Stuk on its own won't be able to take this back. More tanks here rolling in for Colonel Koenig, but not having the infantry in front of it is just a painful experience. And I'm tank tank destroyer pushing all the infantry back in the south as well. Yep, Colonel Koenig trying to be a bit overly ambitious here in the south. I mean, his push in here at least working out, but losing this position here on this map always super duper painful. And we seldom see a comeback when this happens. So yeah, chances are Colonel Koenig will struggle to win this game by now. Also taking so many flags with just an MG is also quite nice there for Flix. 15-9 now. 13 minutes to go. At this tick rate. And gets the kill on the Stuart at least. Marders and co moving forward. M10 is around though. Moving into 1750 meter range. Hitting the Panzer. Killing it. Could use its APCR shells. Yeah, now turning on the APCR again to deal with the Stuk. Stuk not in range to shoot back. If it would be in range at 1750 meter range, the Stuk might win, but as it gets outranged here, the M10 is hitting hard. Engineers coming in. The Lightning spotting everything on the side of Colonel Koenig. Now a 20mm trying to push it back, but could even still continue flying around back in the rear and still spot a lot of things. Pak 36 nearly getting the kill there, at least dealing some good amount of damage to the M10, but having pretty low range, having good AP, but low range, only 1500 meter. Not able to get the kill there. So what can Colonel Koenig do here? Tries to pressure over here with the Marder and so on, but you don't have 2000 meter range on your Marders. You would want to set up a defensive line and then bring in your 2000 meter range AA and AT guns to fill the gap. But those are defensive weapons. Offensively, you just don't have the 2000 meter range. What the enemy does with the M10s, and German 76 is also pretty good against Stuks if you use them correctly. With the better aim time and so on, and the penetration chance that is good enough to deal with Stuks. 16-8 now for Flix. Counteroffensive has started here a bit. 37mm in a good position. Marder 1 helping out as well. M8 has to be careful. 50 cal goes down. Surprised we didn't see an anti-tank gun coming in here for Flix. Now an anti-tank gun is being brought in. An M1 gun. But took a while. Gets rid of the mech here though. With the 2000 meter range support gun. The support Sherman really strong. Pretty helpful. Can deal with the martyrs without having to fear retribution on the long ranges. And put some extra damage on everything here. The 59 is ticking rapidly. Rifle Lates here also good enough to hold the line. Not something you should move forward into Pioneers though. That may be a mistake. I made Scots for the fire support as well. As Colonel Koenig is trying to set up over here to push back in. M1 gun finally coming in. 76mm Sherman also entering the battlefield. Northern situation. Pretty much stalemate at the moment. I don't think Colonel Koenig can push in here at all. Should stay defensively, but obviously feels the pressure. But with rifle lates and 2 Sherman 76s, I don't see this position falling for Flix at all. 60mm mortar also now helping out against all those targets close by. 60mm mortar pretty powerful, really cheap for its HE damage output and its high rate of fire. Yeah, infantry here keeps on pushing. M8 getting on 47mm, but yeah, has to disengage there. And the push of Colonel Koenig actually working out somewhat here. 10-14 now. But will he now come under pressure in the north. As units might overstretch their position. Ooh, Kriegsmarine and Pioneers, really nice unit with TNT and Panzerschreck. Pretty painful if you run into them. M8 goes down. Shermans have to run away. Mortar fire coming in from the rear. 14-10 for Flix. Oh yeah, it's the second game. It's the second game. It's... that's not the one. It's a 1-0 for Colonel Koenig. .60mm mortar coming in here for the Kriegsmarine and Pioneers. The F109 getting over here. 59 for Flix again, with the flag taken in the north. Gets under pressure over here though. Might lose this position. And one gun is in, but the other units have fallen. Or are at least pinned down. The 100mm, the 105mm Sherman though, pretty helpful from over here. Can maybe help out pinning down some infantry. If it gets some shots off. Will try to do so, certainly. The 105mm not as good as, for example, a Guerrilla in its damage output. It is a solid gun, but not the highest HE of them all. Though it has the better rate of fire. 4 HE, still pretty good. And one gun stuck a bit too far forward. One gun getting in penetration. T-47 coming in. Getting the Bootsbesatzung, getting the kill there. Stuck does fall to the M1 gun. That's a big kill. Yep. Colonel Koenig not with the perfect timing on his infantry. And that means that now the 105mm over here and up in the north can bully this whole position again. A bit. Have to be careful of the Panzerschreck. But this turns it all around. Stuck falling. It's not something Colonel Koenig would let happen. Doesn't have a replacement for it at hand. One coming up. But that buys a lot of time here for Flix to reinforce this position. And one gun still alive. 105mm also will hit the infantry pretty hard here. They try to disengage. This is rough for Colonel Koenig. At least holds the northern push as well. As some Stuarts run around. 8 Scots as well. So only a 14-10 at the moment for Flix. Giving Colonel Koenig a bit more time to maybe come back into this. Getting some kills in the south as well. And 10 Tank Destroyer has to be careful. But yeah, losing a lot of units over here. Losing a lot of units now over here again. And not making it come back. That looked like it was happening 2 minutes ago. Comeback got denied here by Flix. Really nice kill with the M1 gun on the over-eager Stuck. Completely turning the situation around. As now the 105mm nearly wiped out all the infantry. And without the infantry, the Stucks can't push here. Now the Stucks and the Marder are caught out on the open. They now try to retaliate, but the M1 gun is still around. Can most likely get the Marder here once more. And this is a bad situation here now. For Colonel Koenig. Flix once more has it fully under control here now. And the northern one swung around as well. Stuarts and M8s kill off the Pioneer. All the other anti-tank has fallen as well, so there's now a free path for the infantry. And the Sherman 76s can come around as well. 60mm mortar still can maybe help out against this position, but Flag under control, 59 under control. Only 7 minutes remaining for Colonel Koenig at this tick rate. And that is obviously not great. Not having to push power in the south. Really, too long. Just not good at pushing. Just not good at pushing. It's a division that you kind of want to keep the 12-12 equilibrium around and just kill off enemy units, be more efficient, and then slow push maybe forward. But not a division that it is easy to push the enemy off a 59 advantage from. If the enemy has entrenched positions, this division really struggles. So the early rush was pretty ingenious here by Flix, forcing his way in onto this position. Stuk G going down off map, trying to come in, not quite in yet. That's the BF 109, tries to hit around. 16-8, he is in. Off map here, on the way. Rifle Lates will lose against the Maros, but there is no tanks around here anymore. Stuks and so on have all gone down, and you don't get that many. Like, Colonel Koenig can't even replace the ones he lost, I would say. So, tankless now in the center, and that's not something he can afford to let happen. He needed those tanks. Those were the Stuks were his only hope, I think, to recapture this whole position and hold on to it. Gets off map now in here. At least that hits pretty well, but it's not quite getting the kills. So that's also only mediocre. Not amazing. Another Stuk coming in. Another Pack 40. Stuk has a lot of work cut out for it though. 10-14 at least. And another off map in the north to hold these units away a bit. Stuk helping out here too. But just no infantry now. In the north. And yeah, now one more tank again in the south. Where there is some infantry. Just not taking the engagements well though. Bit overeager at the start, and now with the one comeback chance he had so far thwarted by the Stuk, just too overeager. Too bad on the macro there, Colonel Koenig. And Flix too fast in punishing that. Too good for letting a chance like that slip away. The M1 gun getting the kill there. And that all keeps this situation here pretty rough for Colonel Koenig. Especially as both sides are playing Mavericks, so it's not like Colonel Koenig has an insane amount of late game power if he can hold on here for a bit longer. It's just that he will run out of stuff most likely in C phase as well, as so he needs insane trades here to try to come back. The 40mm did some damage, but the Shermans survived, and 2 of these Shermans, if used well, should be able to deal with the Stuk and the Panzer 39. So getting a real nice push in here in the north for Colonel Koenig will still be super tough work, and also a bit of luck most likely. M1 gun finding a Marder here. Marder, great long-range anti-tank, not a great unit to push with, as anti-tank guns easily penetrated, like we saw there. So next armored vehicle, next mobile unit of Colonel Koenig bites the dust. And with that, the 59 here is getting really close to victory for Flix, really close to getting the tie here in game number 2. Or by winning game number 2 here. Another 340mm off-map plane coming in. This time more as bomber though, as it only had 2 launches. As these Arado 196 have a couple of bombs under them as well. And 20mm in the front. They're pretty interesting planes for their price. Yeah. Not able to achieve much though, and the Stuk went down as well. No tank here. And pushing with Flak 41s is not what you want to do, especially not when the enemy has 105mm, 60mm mortars, and also even big artillery guns if they want to. So I feel like the 3 minutes that Colonel Koenig has remaining will be the only 3 minutes that we will see of this game. 39mm here going down. gets it back to a 10-14 at least. But Flak 41 now on the fire here. 1 at 5mm hitting it hard. Killing off at M10 at least. But the damage continues. Flak 41 getting another shot off, but without veterancy and with so much stress, it's pretty inaccurate at this point. So the damage of the 1 at 5mm will most likely bring it down to its knees relatively soon. Really interesting series. Both games must getting won by an aggressive push in the early game. In game number 1, Colonel Koenig taking Flix off guard. And in game number 2, now it's being the other way around. Colonel Koenig trying to be a bit too aggressive here with Toulon in the early game. Trying to get too much off the flag and getting punished for it with an M8 and a Jeep Rush. Marauder going down, but that doesn't matter much, as the flags are so heavily in favor of Flix. Northern anti-tank guns completely wiped out as well. Sherman 76 is here, easily holding on to that. MG34s tried to take off over the flag here in the center. Pak 43 and Stoke will deal with Sherman 76 if it stays around. So at least the anti-tank down here is gone. But taking enough flags to make it in a draw within the next couple of minutes is highly unlikely. 59 is on. 1 minute 44 remaining here on the health bar of Colonel Koenig. And really a push reminiscent of old on this map. A push that we in the past have seen from people like El Bowser a lot. Like, not quite with the same units, but in its style. And it worked well. It worked really well. Flix for sure found the right strategy for the map and the opponent here. Which is nice to see. Mind games in both games being decisive. 1 at 5mm. Getting at least another kill here onto some recon units. And with 1 minute remaining, this is gonna be it. Colonel Koenig is going to lose this game. There is no way for a comeback here now. Pak 40 is also under heavy fire by the 1 5mm and the Scott. Going down there as well. 42 seconds. A lot of M8s just rushing forward now. Trying to take some ground. Stopping the enemy from taking any further flags. The Pioneers here could have maybe done something, but they're not moving further forward. And only 25 seconds remaining on the clock now. GGVP. Really cool games. Yeah, monthly tournament for sure delivering. Bridging the gap to League Season 8, which will start in October. Scharfschützen going down. Or the Scharfschütze, rather. Singular. And yeah, well played here by Flix. Taking it off Colonel Koenig this time. A lot of good players also in the monthly. We have a look on the results so far. Sir Daniel's playing, beating Herr Robert. Frublord playing, Graham playing. We also have Nilla playing and losing in round 2 already, as his opponent was none other than 3rd place league player Hairs. So a pretty strong matchup here as well. Dark Neutron, the finalist in Division 2, playing this as well. Homer, playoff player Division 2. Stardek, the winner of Division 4. Luna, always like winner of the charity event. Yeah, a lot of good players for sure.